If you have an empty spot in your yard, you can turn it into a source of fresh fruit that lasts for decades. To get there, we are going to walk through exactly how to plant your bushes, feed them throughout the seasons, and protect them from pests. Before you put a shovel in the dirt, you need a few specific supplies. You will want a soil test kit, peat moss, elemental sulfur, a fertilizer designed for acid-loving plants, and basic pest control sprays. You will also want to pick up at least 2 different varieties of blueberry bushes. Planting different types close together ensures cross-pollination, which gives you a larger yield of bigger berries. Securing these specific tools and selecting compatible varieties provides the baseline for the technical work of preparing your soil. The single most common reason new blueberry plants fail to thrive or die shortly after planting comes down to the chemistry of your soil. Here is a standard pH scale from 1 to 14. Most garden vegetables and flowers do perfectly fine right in the middle, at a neutral 7.0. Blueberries, however, are extreme acid lovers. They require a highly specific soil pH strictly between 4.5 and 5.5 to survive. To aggressively lower your soil's pH into that range, you need to amend your garden bed. You can mix in elemental sulfur, handfuls of peat moss, and nutrient-rich compost to build the exact acidic environment these roots need. Soil microbes take time to convert that raw sulfur into sulfate, which is what actually lowers the pH. Because this is a slow process, you need to test and amend your soil well before your actual planting day. You cannot fight your soil's natural pH and expect the plant to adapt. Forcing that acidic microenvironment is a strict requirement for your bush to survive. Once your soil is ready, you have 2 options for planting: setting them directly into a traditional garden bed or keeping them confined to patio containers. If planting in the ground, dig the hole so its depth perfectly matches the nursery pot, but make it twice as wide. Because these plants grow significantly, you must leave a clear 5-foot gap between each bush's center so they can expand. If you don't have that kind of space, you can grow them in containers. Look for a half-high bush variety, which is a hybrid designed to stay small and maximize space on a patio. But pots have 2 major vulnerabilities. First, the soil dries out quickly. Second, without the deep earth to insulate them, the roots are susceptible to freezing when winter temperatures drop. To combat that rapid moisture loss, you should apply a thick layer of top mulch over the soil after planting. However, you must keep the mulch pulled back several inches away from the main stem. Pushing wet mulch directly against the wood will cause severe rot. Whether you plant in the earth or a pot, respecting the physical footprint and insulation needs of that root system dictates whether your blueberry bush survives its first year. Blueberry bushes have a very shallow root system. Because they sit so close to the surface, they dry out quickly. Your hydration baseline is about 2 inches of water per week. The goal is to keep the soil consistently moist but never soggy. If your plants are in containers, they have 0 access to deep groundwater. You will need to manually water them much more frequently than bushes planted in the ground. Feeding requires a strict schedule. You should only apply fertilizer in the spring, right when leaves appear. You must avoid fertilizing while the bush is dormant. Feeding a sleeping plant disrupts its natural cycle and severely damages the root system. Aligning these inputs with the shrub's natural growth cycle ensures the plant receives nutrients and hydration exactly when it needs them most. Even a perfectly watered and fed bush will face environmental threats, specifically fungal diseases and predatory insects. During the summer, watch out for powdery mildew, a fungal disease that looks like white, dusty spots rapidly spreading across the leaves. Apply a sulfur dust at the very first sign of damage to stop the spread without harming the delicate blooms. You also need to monitor for common insect threats, particularly swarming aphids, hungry Japanese beetles, and yellow jackets, which can quickly decimate your crop. When you use protective sprays for these pests, be strategic about your watering. You need to give the treatments enough time to be absorbed by the plant, rather than washing them away immediately with a hose. Whenever you apply pest control to an edible crop, you have to follow the pre-harvest interval, or PHI. The PHI is the strict number of days you must wait between applying the product and safely harvesting the fruit. Successfully defending your crop requires balancing aggressive, immediate action against pests, with strict adherence to that safety timeline before you eat a single berry. The biggest psychological hurdle of growing blueberries is expecting a massive yield right away. Biologically, for the first 2 years, the plant redirects almost all of its energy underground, prioritizing a permanent, healthy root system over producing fruit. That early patience pays off when the plant reaches maturity, producing a bountiful harvest every summer for decades. Growing blueberries is an investment in precise soil chemistry and time. Follow these steps, and you'll turn a single afternoon of planting into a lifelong, self-renewing reward. Grab a soil test kit, check your yard's pH, and get started today.